Hi there, folks. Saber4 here, back with a kind of brief video. I know we're sort of in the gap right now between the PQ season, which is winding down rapidly as we approach Galactic Championships, and the spoiler season, which is nearing its conclusion. We're only a few weeks out now from the actual arrival of Legends of the Force. And so this is a deck kind of playing with some of the new cards and messing around with some things just to kind of see where we go. We're going to take a look at Bendu and bringing him in a little bit quickly and just kind of seeing what happens with it. First off, if you have not already subscribed to the channel, would really love for you to do so. We are just over 900 subscribers. Would love to see that 1,000 mark hit here with Legends of the Force. So please hit that subscribe button. Second, an apology. I have been at a new job and kind of slowed down with my content. I know we're also in that little gap, but I do want to keep giving you guys good Star Wars content and would love to put that out on a regular basis. I just have to kind of figure out my schedule a little bit better. What we're going to look at here is we'll look at the Bendu unit. We'll look at the runway to a runaway and then a couple of deck lists, and we will call it a day. So this is Bendu. We have Do You Fear the Storm? This is Bendu, the one at the end. Early on in Spark of Rebellion, we got a Bendu unit. It was a force creature, kind of unique for his time. And he was a 6-cost, double vigilance unit that provided some bonuses on attack to the cost of several other units coming in. This time we're going to look at a cost reduction for Bendu himself. He has a huge body on a 10-10 force creature that on attack does 3 damage to each other unit, yours and the opponent's. And so this guy can really, if he gets in and is allowed to stick, he can really start clearing the board very quickly. How do we get here? How do we get here early? Well, as I said, we're going to wind up using Han 2 with this. And what we want to do is we want to kind of set ourselves in a place where we are avoiding the use of one-to-one removal and keeping things in a clear line so that we can get Bendu out on the board and get him to stick. Or if Bendu comes out and you do have an answer, it's do you have an answer for Bendu and a Krayt Dragon back to back. So what we're doing here is that we're running the green Poe Dameron, who can be dropped as early as a 3-cost, put him down, create the ship along with him to kind of insulate away from the one-to-one removal. We use Poe, the big red Poe, the next time. And using that Poe Dameron quick to improvise allows us to put a very big threat on the table and do that again as early as 4. A 6-4 for 4 is a perfectly fine line to play. He still has some wonderful on-attack abilities. But then we can play that into a resupply carrier, and that resupply carrier is going to help us accelerate, skip that 7 turn, and get to the 8s and 9s very quickly. As you'll see with the 2 versions of the deck, we do have quite a significant amount of ramp put in here to be able to kind of bridge ourselves from that Han flip and on into these big end-game units. And then Bendu, which we've already talked about, and the Krayt Dragon, which just kind of closes the door. So, 2 decks to show you here. First is the Great Race, and this I went ahead and gave you Data Vault, give you a little bit more insulation to kind of work our way up to the that top end. Didn't do anything fancy. This is 23 ofs. But what I want you to see are a couple of little loops that are built in here. Number 1, we have things like Black 1, Sabine Wren, Red 5, Sabine's Masterpiece, the Poe Dameron, Bendu and Krayt Dragon, or sorry, not Krayt Dragon, Bendu and Reinforcement Walker all work with Hotshot Maneuver. And so being able to use an on-attack ability to do a little bit more clearing and kind of keep your board a little bit lighter on the other side. We have Spark of Hope, we have Resupply Carrier, and we have Cham Syndulla in here. So you've got 12 different options on this configuration for how you can ramp depending on how your opponent uses their resources. We would love to Spark of Hope tech That's a very ideal turn one play, is to have tech in your hand, bring him out, cheat him out, and then force your opponent to deal with the fact that you've sparked him into your row. If not, Resupply can be played on turn two. Cham and Dula, if they play ramp, can be played on turn two. My giant dog is acting up, so if I say anything to him, I am sorry, but we got to kind of keep him off the counters. Bear! No thank you. He's just looking for trouble. The next thing up that we have here, as we've seen, we do have solid play lines at, putting down K2SO at 3, putting down Poe Dameron at 3, being able to work our way up to the end game in this, which is quite powerful. But we also have a speedier version of this deck. This is the ECL version of this, and really comes out hard hitting, a little bit tighter draw lines, and so a little bit of refinement here. We've taken out a little bit of the chaff, so we've removed things like Black One, removed a little bit of the other things that either didn't synergize with on attack or that didn't give us quite as immediate a value. Really to work our way into this end game very quickly. We know Han's ability already, his ability to cheat something out and to bring it out with 2 less health. We're unconcerned with basically every unit in here having that, because the early game units we definitely would like to be able to spark and put them in our row, and the late game units have so much health that we don't care if it's gone. So these decks and the deck lists with them will be posted in the description to the video. Encourage you to try them out. Hope you are psyched for Legends of the Force to come out, and we will see you guys next time.